And then I
I'd like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to request the clerk call the roll.
Bassett.
Here.
Whitehill.
Here.
Bratton.
Here.
Benvenuto.
Here.
Stats.
Here.
Keaveney. Nair.
Here.
Lowe. Here. Riley. Eldridge.
Here.
Bury.
Here.
Chipkowski. Ligonia. Sterling.
Here.
Mia.
Here.
Chamides.
Here.
Mussman.
Here.
Scalera.
Here.
Guzzi.
Here.
Morel.
Here.
Knott.
Here.
Scotta.
Here.
Oh, Teal, I'm sorry. Teal. 3,000 present and 535 absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I need a motion to pay the bills, accept the treasurer's report, and file the minutes within the clerk's office.
So moved.
Second motion?
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question before we pass the treasurer's report? I noticed in this month's report that our total cash position was $17 million unrestricted, and I would appreciate hearing from the county treasurer about what the cause of that good news is.
DJ?
We hit the lotto. No, actually, we're in a good cash position right now due to a couple things. Number one, our sales tax position is doing really well. We're ahead by about 7.7% over a year ago, which is good. I think that's has a lot to do with the tourism industry that's happening in the county, and we're happy to have that. The other issue is that the general fund was the grand recipient of funds from the capital fund, which we just did a bond a couple months ago for the college, roads, bridges, so on and so forth. Because Ray, as you know, I'm always harping, we need that cash because we have to lay all that out first, okay? We got paid back, so that's your job as supervisors, not to spend that. We'll be all set moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'd like to ask Supervisor Basson to come up for the purposes of reading a proclamation for the 4-H. And I believe the 4-H should come up as well.
Please, Supervisor, if you want to come, the microphone is on there.
Art, can I invite my guests tonight? Or introduce them?
Absolutely, I wish you would.
So I'm Linda Tripp. I am the 4-H issue leader here for Columbia and Greene counties, and I have invited members of the Sunnyside Up 4-H Club. They're located in Chatham, and their leaders are Megan, Sharon, and her husband. I have to tell you that we're always looking for new and more 4-H volunteer leaders. Just like almost any volunteer organization, there aren't that many people that are willing to do what Megan and her husband are doing and starting a club. As a matter of fact, I just mentioned to someone, I'm turning away kids because I don't have enough people who want to lead groups. But look at how great these kids look. Of course you'd want to lead a group of these guys. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, tell their first and last name, okay? And one thing that they like about being in 4-H. Nice and loud.
Hi, my name is Tessa Wallace. I love 4-H. It's a lot of fun, and I love doing the crafts and like the 4-H. I'm Jaden Williams, and my favorite part about 4-H is working with my dad.
I'm Nicole Myers, and my favorite part about 4-H is learning about hollow rabbits.
My name is Brandon Myers, and I like learning about horses.
This
This is Amelia Sharon, and she's a Clover bud, so she's only 7, and she likes to work with her guinea pig, Oreo.
Before I read the proclamation, could I just ask if anyone here in the Board of Supervisors knows the 4-H pledge and would like to recite it for us? Ms. Musman, please stand up and recite the pledge.
I was in 4-H for many years in Indiana. I pledge my health to better living, my hands to larger service, my heart to greater loyalty, and my head to clearer thinking. And I applaud the 4-H. It's a great organization.
Congratulations for your years in 4-H.
Okay, let me read the proclamation. A declaration declaring National 4-H Week for 2018. Whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, supporting almost 6 million youth across the country. And whereas 4-H, which had its beginnings in rural America, now serves youth ages 5 to 19 in towns and villages, as well as rural communities in Columbia County. And whereas 4-H is delivered by Cooperative Extension, a community of more than 100 public universities across the nation that provides experiences where young people learn by doing in hands-on projects in areas including health, science, agriculture, and citizenship. And whereas National 4-H Week showcases the incredible ways that 4-H inspires kids to do and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in Columbia County who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And whereas 4-H's network of nearly 500,000 volunteers and 3,500 professionals provides caring and supportive mentoring to all 4-Hers, helping them grow into true leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Matthew B. Murrell, Chairman of the Columbia County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the week of October 7th through October 13th, 2018 as National 4-H Week in Columbia County. I encourage all of our citizens to recognize 4-H for the significant impact it has made and continues to make by empowering youth with the skills they need to lead for a lifetime. Signed by Matt B. Murrell, Chairman, Columbia Board of Supervisors.
You'll need to come down, Matt, so we can get a picture. One thing I do want to mention is next year we'll be celebrating 90 years of 4-H in Columbia County and Greene County. So we'll be inviting you all to a few special events happening next year, so watch for that. Okay, now you guys need to come in closer. Good. Okay, stay with your mom. Turn around. Okay, Matt, why don't you go on the other side? Or why don't you go on the other side? You want to open that up and maybe you look like you're giving it. There you go.
He doesn't like it.
Well, you guys need to go on.
Maybe one with the bunny. Bunny presentation.
Oh yeah, open up your presentation still. There we go.
Matt, move that away, because you block her face.
Now they're being particular. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Okay, I'd like to ask Kevin McDonald to come up to introduce our next speaker.
I'm sure most of you probably know me. For those who don't, I'm the director of the Office for the Aging. I've been here about 3 years, and it didn't take long to figure out that Columbia County is a very aging county. I'm sure most of you, not all of you, at some point in your lives have been touched by an ailing parent or a relative who needed some kind of services that all of a sudden you were like, where do I go to get these services? Long story short, Joyce Thompson is here. She's the director, actually the director of our Office for the Aging Senior Advisory Council. And she has also chaired a subcommittee that called the Safe at Home Committee, which you'll see in front of you. You have a bag. It involves over a dozen agencies that have been working together for well over 2 years, trying to answer some of these questions. And it's kind of astounding, some of the things that Joyce has come up with, and I think you'll find it kind of interesting and hopefully helpful.
Sorry about that. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much, Chairman Murrell and Mr. Grattan, Majority Leader, and Minority Leader Sterling. I'm sorry. I think it might be this.
Is the other mic?
Is the other mic off?
It is on. Can you see?
It's not on, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can project. Okay, great. Let's not do this. Okay. Supervisors and guests. This is a presentation about a program, a framework called Safe at Work. As Kevin has said, we've been working on it for about 2 years. 13 agencies. And I want to put your minds at ease. This is not about money. Budget season, it's not about money. It is about planning. It's about raising awareness. It's about about involving assessment. It's about seeing and planning for facilities and services that are going to be needed in the very near future, if not already. So, they're addressing a demographic issue. And let me show you what that is. In 2000, approximately 21% of our towns and county were 68 years of age or older. By 2030, AARP is estimating that 49.5% of our towns and county will be 65 years or older. This means that we're going to have almost half of our towns and county of retirement age. And as retirees, they're wonderful. They bring, as many of us know, they bring expertise, they bring time, volunteers, they bring wisdom, good, solid, good old-fashioned common sense, and they also bring us firsthand knowledge and sharing of the heritage that keeps us all here. This is their contribution. They are the active, mobile seniors. There are also active seniors who have mobility challenges. And those mobility challenges are what we're focusing on. Have you ever thought or experienced such a fall, such that you can't drive, and you live alone in this county? You don't have a boat. It's really, therein lies one of the examples of the kinds of things that half of your town could experience at one time or another. So, in terms of planning, We plan for youth to grow, to be educated to work. And we do plan sometimes for retirement, but not necessarily. We think about it legally, we think about it financially. But do we think about what we would do if we did fall and needed help at home, needed a ramp in order to leave the hospital, or had a stroke and needed a whole new way of life once you were home? Those are the kinds of things we don't plan for. And those are the kinds of things that can happen, particularly as people reach 75 and over. 75 and over, people, seniors, all of us become more vulnerable to health issues that have an effect on our mobility. So when we plan, we need to, if we were to plan, we would want to know what. We would want to know what we need, where to get it, how to get it, who can help, how to stay as active as possible in every way necessary, and how to keep in touch with the most important people in our lives, our family, our friends, and our neighbors. Those can become challenges, especially if you're living alone, or if you have been either temporarily or full-time disabled in any way. The framework we've come up with in the last 2 years is this. It is a series, it's a circle of services that we all need. Activities with friends, personal community. These are all things in one combination or another that we need at every stage in life. But when you lose some mobility, now you need a different dimension on some of those services. And that's where this program comes in. First, you may need help with essential needs. You may need help with personal care and medical resources. You may need help with social activities so that you can get to see your friends or for them to see you. If you want to stay living in your own home, which as we all know is a lot cheaper than going to a nursing home, then you're going to have to make some changes in your home. You may need people coming in to help you. You may need transportation to get out. You may need shopping delivered to your door. All of those things become services that in one way or another don't exist today, or if they exist, are not available throughout the county. And thirdly, you need your independence. I think everyone would agree that the folks who live in Columbia County are here because they're very independently minded. They don't want help. And that's part of the problem. But we need to think about the importance of independence and the importance of autonomy. Together, with good services, people can live at home longer and healthier than if they were in a nursing home. And that's what the goal for this program is. There are challenges and there are barriers. The challenges for the individual would be affordability. You might have your house, but you could be cash poor. There are personal and home management things that you're going to need services in order to keep going at a rate that's safe to keep you safe at home. And you need transportation and broadband, fortunately, to be able to communicate, to keep up your social actions. If you're living alone and no one to talk to, it's really, really unpleasant. And housing, proximity for family and friends. Say your house has become too much for you, but you really don't need a nursing home. There needs to be some kind of alternative housing possibilities for seniors who are at that point. Too much for the house too much, but they're not ill or they don't need a nursing home. Part of the problem for that is, of course, we are a rural county, and we don't have infrastructure in our towns for developers to come in with senior housing. So this is a problem because we don't get that kind of developer interested in Columbia County, something for us to be thinking about. For the county agencies and the not-for-profit and profit agencies, The distances throughout the county are very hard to cover. From here, from Hudson to the northeast in Canaan, New Lebanon, it's very far. The business model doesn't work very well. So those areas, really all along the eastern half of the county, do not get the same services and access to the services that the western half of the county does. There are new kinds of services that I've mentioned that we're going to need. The internet will make it very possible for telemedicine, which would be of grand help in enormous ways without going into detail. The people are not aware of services. That goes back to the lack of planning. People don't know what services are available until there's a crisis, and then they have to ask for it. And then who do they ask? It makes the crisis even worse. And there is a great reluctance to ask for help. We all have challenged that, I'm sure. What this really means, and we're suggesting that it means a change in culture, in the culture, from aging as a condition to aging as an opportunity. And that's not just for individuals, but for our communities. I'm suggesting that we renew the whole neighbors helping neighbors. It was part of a rural culture, and we've grown a part of it, I think. But there are towns in the county that have neighbors helping neighbors organizations. There is a new organization called Neighbors of Northern Columbia County. It's on a village model, and it's a membership thing, but it's people helping people. It's an exchange of services. Those are the kinds of things that are a possibility that would help us to bring back this kind of renewal of giving and receiving support by all ages, within generations and in between generations. As I said, it's information and services. And what would happen if each town had some element, a committee, a person, a department, whatever works in your town, and certainly our towns are a lot, each of us is quite unique. But if they all had a focus on how to help their citizens stay at home more safely, there could become a network of sharing services. You come to know what you have in your town, you know what the neighbor towns have, and you begin to build a network, perhaps within your region. Finally, so we're suggesting some next steps for you. One, develop some kind of a focus on how people can save at home. It would help individuals become more aware of what kind of planning they could and really should be doing, so that when the crisis comes, it's not so bad. They know who to call. And who they call is local, and it's a friend, it's someone they know. It's someone in their own town government that they trust. The second would be to figure out what services are in your town already and what isn't there, and where would it come from. So you would see what goes out and what comes in. Now you know the services, and you can build your own knowledge base, so that when someone calls you as supervisor or your clerk or your safe-at-home person, they can say, here's what you do. You call so-and-so, I'll be with you, I'll take you through it, we'll solve this together. And it minimizes that crisis. A renewing of neighbors helping neighbors culture, changing our culture to planning for retirement on a broader base than legal and financial, building a network between our towns can lead to a different way for an aging county to thrive, keeping its people at home, healthy, and successfully. I thank you very much for watching. Oops. And this one. I appreciate your time. If anyone has any questions or comments, I'd be happy to take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Joyce, don't forget your, oh, that's all right.
Okay, I'd like to request the clerk read the resolutions.
Resolution 330 of 2018 by Supervisor Basson, 331 by Nair, 332 by Weigelt, 333 by Weigelt, 334 by Knott, 335 by Benvenuto, 336 by Gretton, 337 by Lull, 338 by Nair, 339 by Supervisor Weigelt.
Supervisor Weigelt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer these resolutions for adoption.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 340 of 2018 by Supervisor Weigelt, 341 by Knott, 342 by Benvenuto, 343 by Grattan, 344 by Lull, 345 by Basson, 346 by Weigelt, 347 by Weigelt, 348 by Knott, 349 by Benvenuto, Supervisor Benvenuto, sorry.
Supervisor Benvenuto.
Mr. Chairman, I offer these resolutions for adoption.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 350 of 2018 by Supervisor Grattan, 351 by Lull, 352 by Basson, 353 by Nair, 354 by Weigelt, 355 by Knott, 356 by Benvenuto, 357 by Weigelt, 358 by Lull, 359 of 2018 by Supervisor Basson.
Supervisor Basson.
Mr. Chairman, I offer these resolutions for adoption.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 360 of 2018 by Supervisor Nair, 361 by Knott, 362 by Weigelt, 363 by Supervisor Knott.
Supervisor Knott.
Mr. Chairman, I offer these resolutions for adoption.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Carried.
on 260, 362.
Got that? Thank you. Okay, do any supervisors have any business to bring to the board? Okay. I do have some board appointments. Supervisor Jepkowski has asked to be taken off of public safety because of scheduling issues. So, which I'm going to do, and I'm adding Supervisor Stats to that committee. And on county government, I'm adding Supervisor Jepkowski to that committee. Also, I'm going to create a occupancy rate / tax review committee to just look at the feasibility of studying the issue within Columbia County. And I'm going to appoint myself, Supervisor Grattan, Supervisor Basson, Supervisor Chimides, Supervisor Lull, and Supervisor Riley, as well as our Tourism Director, Ann Cooper, to that committee. Also, I'm going to ask as a motion to adjourn, and then I'd like to take a moment of silence on behalf of the innocent victims of 9/11.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.